What is the law here? Pauline been turned into a child? Does Pauline have a daughter? What is happening?
Who's the dad?
There's only one man who can answer this. Steve Harvey guest stars in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the HGO podcast. I'm Ethan. That's Kyle and Hunter. Hey guys, How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the only gaming podcast that had the decency to wait a week to see what the hell would happen. Because here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We joked that we would be the last to the finish line. We'd be the only people here that would actually, we'd have the oldest take in the book. But the Switch 2 reveal, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Every day, something new for us to find. We just keep digging it up, dude. It's all good.
If you think about it, us being the last to deliver the news means it's going to be the most accurate.
Exactly, and I like to pride ourselves on accurate information. We do that. We never lie. We always tell the truth.
True.
We have never made a mistake in all 5 years of doing this podcast. True.
Never once.
Never once.
Not from any of us.
Nope, definitely not. I definitely do not remember us definitely making a mistake within the first 20 episodes, maybe. Definitely not. We've never made a mistake. Not a single one. No,
Not
sir.
at all.
But yeah, we're here, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've had an interesting week. I think that's what the best word to describe it is, interesting. Because, my gosh, have we had some highs, we've had some lows. But we're here to talk about everything that has happened this week in regards to the Nintendo Switch 2. It's real. It's a thing. And it's, there's been good, there's been bad, there has been ugly. And we're going to dive into all of that this week. It's going to be fun, I think. It's going to be fun. We haven't talked personally about the Direct. We've mentioned little bits and pieces, but we have not talked about our
Ethan
personal
screamed
thoughts.
at me while it happened, but aside from that,
He's a little bitch. He made some stuff exist that shouldn't do. I was literally, if Splatoon 1 had happened, I would literally be like that. I would be like, get away from me, you freak.
This would be a two-person podcast.
We'd be replacing you with the nearest available person, dude, which at this point, I don't know. It'd probably be my dad, but anybody else, like anybody else.
It's a shame I had to work because being present for all of that would have been hysterical.
Yeah, I was talking with Jack at the time, and there was some many a noise that happened that afternoon. It was an interesting one, that's for sure. But yeah, the game plan for this week's episode, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to talk about the Direct first, so you can get our impressions on what we thought about the Direct overall and all the little bits and pieces that were happening throughout. And then afterwards, we'll talk about all of the things that came out after the Direct. What most people forgot actually happened is everything else. We'll talk about the prices, we'll talk about the pre-orders, the lack thereof, we'll talk about leaks, we'll talk about UI, everything else that came out, the treehouse, all of that jazz. We'll go through it all. This is a big Nintendo episode, similar to last week. We promise we're not a Nintendo podcast, because I realized the week before we also did Xenoblade, so it's like we're not just a Nintendo podcast, but it's Nintendo's year at this point.
Assassin's Creed in there too.
Unfortunately, we did.
For whatever that's worth to you at this point.
Hey, I finished that game, and I can tell you. Anyway, moving on. So, Nintendo Switch 2. Let's dive into it. But first, I do just want to say that I don't like doing this, but like housekeeping as much. But hey, Xenoblade X review is up on the website and on YouTube. If you haven't checked that out already, go and check that out. We'd really appreciate it. And also, there will also be an article up this week from Kyle on the website as well. So, hotgamesonly.com. You can get all that stuff there when it's out.
Yeah.
Who knows? There'll be other stuff trickling in on the website, I'm sure, over the next couple of weeks as well. But let's get all that out of the way. Let's dive in to the main topic of the show, which is the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Who would have guessed it? It happened. It was a Wednesday, and it happened. Tell you what, let's start off with a vibe check. How were you guys feeling at the end of the Direct? Obviously, not afterwards. How are you feeling? What were your gut reactions after the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation, Hunter?
After just the presentation itself, I was like, wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone was like. Oh, it's weird, right? Because we've heard so much. I think the Switch 2 will go down in history as quite possibly the most leaked gaming console of all time before it was announced because we got everything right. We this time last year we knew what the thing looked like. We knew that the console had a C button. We've known all of this stuff for a while, right? It's relatively as powerful or maybe slightly more than a PS4. All these other random little bits of information that have been chucked at us for the past, like I say, 12 months. So it's nice to just sit there and actually just see it, you know? It's nice to get rid of that bullshit and just go to the okay, here's the thing, you know? Here's what the C button does. Here's everything else that we've added to it, the magnets, all of that jazz. It's just nice to finally just get it over with. It feels like ripping a
Hmm.
band-aid off so we can just get to the games that matter, really. Kyle, what were you feeling?
I'm very, very positive on it. They think they did a really good job of like showing what kind of like what hardware is going to be available to it, the specs on it, and then especially all the games they showed. Because holy moly, there are a lot of games launching for this right away.
The dichotomy of the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal to the Switch 1 was just like you can tell how on board third party is. I don't know
Yeah.
how much we were expecting third party to show up at this, but they really showed up. Like everything that you could think about was here, from the highs of From Software to the lows of Randy Pitchford and everything else in between. There was something for everybody here,
I was
really.
nearly able to purge him from my memory of that.
He's got a perm, and I don't know if I like it, dude. I don't know if
Dude.
I like it.
So I was busy at work when this stream was happening, but I was able to tune in for like towards the end of it. I shit you not. I turned on the stream and Randy Pitchford was on my
Yeah, you got the
screen.
Randy Pitchford
Yeah.
jump scare, dude. You got the jump
I'm
scare.
like,
It was really funny. Eh,
why?
I was
Go
watching, like,
away,
I was just,
Borderlands.
I was just watching, I was watching just random reactions, and I think I saw like a Connor Eats Pants reaction to it, and obviously Deltarune was the thing before it, and then you get the Randy Pitchford jump scare, and he's like, "That's what you all
Yeah.
deserve. That is Deltarune to me. Deltarune to me is a Randy Pitchford jump scare," and I'm like, "That's really funny." It's just like the dichotomy there of like one of the most anticipated indie titles of all time, and Randy Pitchford can be next to each other in one of these presentations. It's kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, I mean, the only main complaint I really have with this direct really is that, I think the Switch 1 presentation really set you up for here's the first year of Nintendo Switch, where it was like, Xenoblade had been teased, and, you had quite literally the whole first year lineup was there. And Nintendo
Yeah.
basically just went, hey, Donkey Kong in July, you'll get Metroid at some point. Like, that's like where we're at. And I'm
And
like,
Mario Kart on launch.
but I think what makes up for it is the fact that all this third party support shows you that there is a path ahead, that Nintendo doesn't need to play all of their cards. They can keep them close to the
Yeah.
chest. They can leave you in anticipation. What will the big holiday game be? Will it be Yoshi's Woolly World for Nintendo Switch 1? Yes, it will. But, like,
But shh, don't tell
don't
anyone.
tell anybody.
We're not
Um,
supposed to know that yet.
Not yet. It's not part of the big plan. But yeah, I think overall pretty positive. Um, So let's dive it in. Let's go beat for beat for the most part. Obviously, we don't have to talk about everything because not everything's our cup of tea. But the big first thing, I don't even need to look at your document, Carl, to know what the big first thing was Mario Kart's back, ladies and gentlemen. It's only been 11 years. Welcome back, Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
I think this looked interesting. It seemed like it was a lot more like open world Mario Kart, which is a very strange sentence to say, but it's an interesting idea.
I think this is I was watching the trailer because we're sitting there and we're like, okay, that teaser did not do this game justice when the Switch 2 was announced in January because everyone was like, it doesn't even look that much better. And then watching this trailer, I'm like, oh no, it does look way better than Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Just the character animations in themselves are a glow up in comparison. I don't know what Mario Wonder did, but thank God it happened because it seems like every Mario thing since then has been oozing with personality. It's like crazy. But I think it's just like when they were basically like every track is in the world and you race between tracks as well I was like,
Hmm.
that's it. That is like it's lightning in a bottle. You've done it. You've figured out how to innovate on Mario Kart is hey, how about these 30-minute long races where you go from one end of the map to the other and people get eliminated as you go? I'm like, the potential for gameplay online in this game seems crazy to me. Like, it's like
Mm.
just the potential of, okay, I'm bored of just doing normal races. Let's do these extended kind of survival maps. There's battle. People have been analyzing the map. There seems to be the battle courses in the map as well. So it looks like, they've managed to cram everything in there. There's remakes. There's there's new tracks. It looks like they've completely ignored Mario Kart 8 tracks. Thank God for that. I think we've played enough of those over the past decade. But I was just looking at, I'm like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was like, I'm actually
Wasn't
impressed. I
this?
wasn't expecting them to
Yeah.
actually innovate. I just thought it was going to be another Mario Kart, and it looks like it's something more. Not to even mention 24 players, cow. Like, there's so much. Like,
Cow,
need I
dolphin,
say more?
pokey, bonefish.
Everybody bar like Diddy Kong. Apparently, everyone's invited except Diddy Kong. Hunter, what are your thoughts?
It definitely looks far more interesting than Mario Kart has ever really looked previously. I think the different movement options there with like the Prince of Persia wall running on a
The
vehicle
trick
was
shots, the rail
interesting.
grinds, all of that
Yeah, or
jazz.
the
Yeah.
Mm.
wire grind and stuff, and then like the long race like you mentioned feels very Fall Guys in a way
Yeah.
that would make things substantially more interesting than Mario Kart 8 was.
This
Mm.
to me feels like the first time where Mario Kart is truly like latched on to the fact that it is a multiplayer like an online powerhouse. This feels like it's been built with, let's have battle mode, let's have regular races as we normally do, but let's have these massive survival modes. Let's have this free roam that you can literally just go around and explore the world. Who knows how actually, you know, content filled that actually is, but just having fun moments of, oh, let's just hang around, let's just go and see what there is to do, have this kind of passive photo mode, which is really cool. I'm just really impressed with it, if I'm honest with you. Like, and not to say how great it looks, like genuinely, it's a gorgeous looking. Those skyboxes, like as soon as that skybox, I was like, oh my god, that's a nice skybox. That's pretty good. Um, I'm interested to see what the roadmap's like for this game. How do you add more tracks when you're kind of landlocked? Does the world expand? Is there
Oh,
like
not
That'll
you
be
just
what
build
Rainbow
new
Road
land.
is. It'll be
right?
the thing that gets you from world to world.
Maybe that's not a bad idea. I said to you guys, I think it'd be a really
The
smart
Rainbow
idea if
Bridge.
how the DLC works in terms of adding DLC, like adding Nintendo properties like they did last time, is just having like different, like you could literally make grant like whole areas of maps that were just culminescent to each other, like the Zelda area and stuff like that. I think there's some really cool
Mm.
possibilities here with this one. Um, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I'm
Yeah.
also happy Moo Moo Meadows is back, dude. Like that's one of the like what a banger, dude. That like just bring the soundtrack back. I don't care. The tracks that you just bring it back every time. I don't care. It's a staple now. Give it.
In the trailer, I don't know if I don't remember if it got shown or not, but they definitely played the music for Toad's Factory
It's in there.
from Mario Kart
It
Wii,
is.
so I
It's
think
one of the
that'll
tracks.
finally be coming back.
Yeah.
Happy for the people that like that track. I do not. I see the appeal, but I don't like it.
Like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how they actually implement adding new tracks afterwards. Is the thing,
Yeah.
because you've got to keep these games fresh, and obviously you've only got so much play space unless you literally just start dragging new continents out of the ground, which I think would be really cool. But
That's what World of Warcraft does every time they make an expansion. It's just
true.
like I saw someone playing that or the newest iteration of that a little while ago, and I'm like, wow, there are so many more land masses than the two of them that were on the game when I played it.
But no, it looks good. It's here at launch day. Launch day is June 5th. If everything goes to plan, which
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But yeah,
For
it,
some people, yeah.
it looks great, dude. It genuinely looked great. It's nice to have a new Mario Kart, and it's crazy because I was talking to Jack when I was saying this, where it's like, obviously, Tour happened, but we haven't had a new Mario Kart since I was 16 years old. Like I was
Yeah.
I was in high school. Like I was a teenager when we had the last Mario Kart. Like that's crazy to me. I mean like I'm 27. Like it's crazy that we haven't had a new Mario Kart. I had a friend who was like, "Hey, I played Mario Kart 8 with somebody," and he just said, just randomly with a big smile on his face, "This game's as old as I am," and he was 11, and I'm like, "No, we can't be doing this. We can't now." There are 11-year-olds who have only played Mario Kart 8. That's what they've known as Mario Kart. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. I think it looks great. Shock
Yeah.
of the century. Personality filled, costumes, love it all. Plays the cow. Did I mention the cow? That's all I need to say.
There's a cow.
There's a
He rides
cow.
a boombox.
He does. He rides whatever he wants, dude. Also, Treehouse showed it off. There's no cart. The carts are standard carts back again. We're not doing the parts
Okay.
organization of 7 and 8. It's back to standard carts, which I think
Well,
is
that's
probably
nice.
a good thing. I don't know. I thought that, I think car parts nice and nice in concept, but you just end up doing what you do anyway. Everyone just ends up with the same combination regardless, so you might as well make the carts look
Yeah.
cool, like
You
instead of
just
goofy
find what's the
tires.
best.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see what happens. June 5th. What's next? Was that when they did all the?
That's when after that it's when they started talking about the game, the console's hardware.
Mhm.
Starting with the C button, it's an in-game voice chat with people in your friends list. It is not gonna combust your system
Hey,
like
Mai, did you
Hunter
see the
wants
Of
frame
to.
all
rate?
I mean,
of
it
all the
might.
things that I wish had been true, that's the one that would have been the best.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Have you seen the frame rate,
Addendum:
dude?
it will not deliberately combust your console.
Hey, guy. Again, the amount of funny tweets I saw, there's always one person, there's always one guy in the group chat that's playing balloon fight, dude, while everyone else is playing like normal shit. You got the guy in the corner playing balloon fight. I'm like, yeah, that deviant in the corner, dude. Um, yeah, I mean, welcome to the 21st century, Nintendo. I think everyone else has been doing this since 2005, so welcome on
My
in.
favorite part was that they insisted on spending 15 minutes on it like it was actually a brand new thing that they had just invented.
Yeah,
They did spend a long time on this.
it looked a lot like Discord as well. Like you put a lot of money in
Yeah.
there to make something look a lot like Discord. But, it's
Well, to be
cool.
fair, at least if it goes downhill, it'll be by their own hand and not because Discord
True.
updated their thing to be worse again.
Yeah.
I think what's good about this is, with the Switch 2 being more powerful, with an abundance in more third-party games, I can 100% see the Switch ecosystem becoming more of a primary ecosystem instead of a secondary. So having chat features, having, game share and stuff like this does just help, because I assume there will be many people that actually, in the same way that I've used PlayStation party chats and Xbox party chats many points in my life, people will start using Nintendo like that.
Hmm.
It's cool. Yeah, does the screen share look like dog shit quality? Yeah, it kind of does. But, if you're sitting there just playing games with your friends, I don't think you're going to care that much, really. Like, you just glance down, you can see they're playing Mario Kart. You don't really need the highest quality capture of everybody's screens, dude.
Right.
But no, it's fine. It's
Then they also said that there was like a like a stand-up camera that you can buy with it as
well, yeah.
well.
This thing's gonna be fucking deviant behavior, dude. This is actually gonna be like, this is gonna cause problems. Like, yeah, there's a $50 camera add-on that you can plug into the top USB-C, and then there you go, you've got a camera, and it seems like it's got built-in like kind of green screen, and you can FaceTime all your buddies on Nintendo Switch 2, and maybe balance some Goombas on your head in Mario Party if you feel that way. It's all right. I saw Hori was making one that looks like a piranha plant that looked pretty cool, and it was cheaper
Yeah,
than the base
that's
one.
hysterical that the Piranha Plant one looks.
But I've got to say,
Honestly, if
props to Nintendo for allowing people to make third-party cameras that support the Switch 2 that you
Oh
don't
yeah.
have to buy just the official one. Fair play.
if it just plugs in via USB-C, I think you could probably just get, like, if you already have a webcam, it works that way.
Yeah,
You
I
could
wonder if
probably
you
just
could just plug it in.
because like the PS4 wasn't like that. They have a
No.
little port on the back of their console specifically made for their stupid PlayStation camera, and it's 2 pixels of glory.
A lot of people have proprietary stuff, so to see Nintendo be kind of open with it, like say, I don't know if all webcams work. Maybe you have to be a licensed one by Nintendo, but just allowing other manufacturers to make them at least is a good sign, um,
Yeah.
which is cool. They obviously mentioned other stuff that they added. Obviously, the new LCD supports HDR and all that jazz. 120 FPS, which is nice. Um,
Mhm.
it's not OLED, obviously. They're going to sell us that back in another couple of years. But what I do like about it is they kind of went out. It looks like a nice screen. The original Switch's screen, I'll be the first person to admit, not the greatest. Like the original
Mm.
Switch's screen was kind of gross. This doesn't look like it's not the same, right? It doesn't look like the same cheap little screen, so it looks pretty good. Magnetic Joy-Con, we all knew about that, right? Bigger analog
Mouse
sticks.
controls.
Yeah. Do the analog stick, are they whatever they are? I can't remember what the fucking what are the new what are the new analog sticks that people always talk about? I don't remember what they're called. The ones that don't drift as much. I can't remember. We don't know if they're them or not. And then yeah, mouse control, most uncomfortable mouse on the planet. I'm really hoping that one of the first accessories they have is something that slots on top of your Joy-Con to make it feel like a mouse a bit more. Because I'm like, it's a cool concept, but also carpal tunnel's gonna be a bitch if you're sitting there with your
But
Joy-Con.
also, why?
Yeah, it kind of seems a bit janky, but it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. But for the most part, I mean, yeah, we knew what it looked like. The dock's got a fan in it. What else do you need to know? It looks again. I think they're taking
The thing's got two
yeah.
USB ports.
I think they're taking every issue that people had with the original Switch and are fixing it. The screen was shit. Okay, good screen and a good fresh, 1080p, 120 FPS. Nice. The rails got, if you had old Joy-Cons, the rails got to the point where you'd have shaky Joy-Cons on the side of your console. Okay, everything's magnetic
Yeah.
now. When you're playing in handheld mode, those two buttons on the top are really uncomfortable. We'll make them massive, so that's not an issue. You know, it feels like every little issue that everybody had, they've kind of gone, okay, we've got you, and have actually come up with a solution for it, which is nice.
Mm.
They haven't.
I think the only thing they haven't brought up, and I don't know if I just missed it or not, but I don't think there was any mention of a built-in Ethernet port.
There is. It's in the dock. There's an Ethernet
There is.
port in the dock. Yeah,
Okay.
it's at
Then
the
I missed
back.
that.
No, they didn't point it out, but it was in the animation. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got the same ports on the back as the OLED dock. So it has a USB-A, it has a LAN, and it has the power. So
Okay.
you're good. You don't need a dongle anymore, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank God.
But yeah, and then in terms of the console itself, supports 4K. There was a rumor the last week that it wasn't going to, so I think everybody was a bit scared for a second because it was like, oh god, another 10 years of 1080p. But it's fine. It does the job. 4K 60 or 1440 120. So it's like, who cares? We're not Digital Foundry. Go and look at them if you want to. If you want some fucking numbers for nerds. And trust me, I love a good nerd number, but this is not the place. These two definitely don't, so I'm not going to
it
start
is
spouting
numbers for
nonsense.
nerds, like he said. Go watch someone else.
Well, how about these nerd numbers? 256 gigs of internal storage compared to the 32 from Switch 1.
It's a
Yeah.
big step up, but also gosh, it's like
If you're gonna have all these third-party games actually functional on your console, you're gonna need that.
yeah, you can trust
Increase.
if you're just using it as a Nintendo
Yeah.
machine, that's ample room really. You'll do great.
Yeah.
SD cards have to be SD Express, not regular SD because the speeds. But they are coming out with a 256 gigabyte one at launch because SD Express actually isn't that common, so there's not that many of these cards around. But the good news is it's not too expensive. It's about, I think they said it was $50 for this 256, which is pretty fair in price, I think, for where you're at. It's not the most amazing price for performance, but it's not PS5 buy an M.2 at launch in 2020 where it was like 1 terabyte was £200 or something ridiculous. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
And
And
there's
yeah.
gonna be a lot less effort in just sliding a card in.
And I also
Then
think that,
unscrewing your console.
I think 540 whatever 552 gigabytes or whatever it ends up being in total. I think that'll be ample room for Switch games for the foreseeable
Yeah.
future for you guys. I think
Oh,
500
absolutely.
will be plenty. So yeah. Was there anything else that we missed, Kyle? I'm just trying to think. In terms of specs.
Before the specs, they did talk about like local download play that you can do.
Yeah, they brought back download play,
DS download play.
which is really
So
cool.
if one person owns the cartridge, they can you can basically share it with other consoles around you and you can all play together.
I don't know if I'm right on this. This might be a correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but there also seems to be an online kind of variant of this as well, which is cool.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, that'd be nice, being able to just
I
hook my
think
friends up with
I think the sequel to Fast RMX
Clubhouse
mentions something
games.
along those lines as online game share as well,
Ooh.
which is interesting. Which would be fun.
Yeah,
But yeah,
huge if true.
and then obviously you've got the new virtual game card rubbish if you care about that as well. Which hey, now you see those
For
physical
whatever that's worth.
prices, maybe that's a bit better. You know, borrow my digital copy for 2 weeks because we all know we can't afford the cartridge to share anymore. Jeez Louise. But yeah, overall, it's I think it I think they
It'll
have
do the job.
rectified every issue that I had with the original Switch. Really, I just hope, because I don't know if you guys ever had issues. Sometimes the Switch doesn't like itself in the dock. Like sometimes it doesn't like getting picked up, and sometimes it's like, oh, you have to have it on limited color range on some TVs or full on the other, or it doesn't work. And there's a load of little nitpick because the Switch one was a bit of a janky little bugger sometimes. So I'm hoping some of that has also been rectified, which I'm sure it has.
I've
been a
never
decade.
personally had issues like that, but I know when I use my Switch in handheld mode, like sometimes it either just charges really slow or it doesn't charge at all.
Sick. Yeah.
So
Fingers crossed stuff like that is fixed. Battery life seems to be about
You
2
think
to
that anyone's gonna horribly mess up their machine by having it in handheld mode and trying to plug in both ends of the ports?
Do you think dual
Or something,
charging?
that'd be yeah.
That's the CPR. That's the live support, dude. If the battery stops failing, plug it in twice, dude. Dual power.
Yeah, because that notion just occurred to me because there's no reason to ever actually try that, but
I'm
also
sure that's built
maybe
into the system. There'll be some kind of prevention. That'll be one of the first thoughts is what if some 8-year-old plugs it in twice? Like there'll be someone will have thought of that, I'm sure.
they had to put a little bad taste spray on the first port.
True, yeah. But no,
yeah.
it's a bigger Switch. Same
then on the
thickness, though. Very
subject of-
important. Very important. Same thickness, ladies and gentlemen. They made
Yeah.
that a priority.
Yeah, and the game cards themselves for Switch 2, they're the same shape as Switch 1, but they're red now.
Then I'll never see him.
Ooh.
I'll never see one, but that's cool.
Yeah. Unless you want to spend $80 dues.
Bloody hell. Yeah.
Then they
that's
also
cool.
talked about a tech demo that does not come with the console.
This is
Nintendo
fucking
Switch 2
right. Roll
welcome
my
tour.
sleeves up. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. It's some bullshit.
It was then found out. Press asked at these presentation days that they've been doing. So what is the price? And Nintendo says they haven't confirmed the price, but they're saying that it'll be roughly $6. Put it on the fucking console then.
What is the point?
Legit.
Actual,
I mean, this looked like
just
a nothing burger of a
okay.
tech demo anyway.
it looked like shit Astro's Playroom, and then they were like, and that'll be $6. I'm like, oh yeah, piss off. Like genuinely, I know
Yeah,
how a
because,
mouse
Yeah,
works.
nah.
The people who would need it are small children, and the small children wouldn't ever ask for that instead of one of your
Mario.
other Nintendo games that are actually appealing. And the people who might look at it and go, "Hey, this is cool," are never gonna buy it because they have their own money to buy real games.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a stupid no-brainer. Just put it on the Switch. Just put it on there. Have it pre-installed like Astro was, and there you go. It just looked like a nothing burger. And it's like I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
really check it out anyway because it genuinely looked like boring tutorial. Like, Astro
Yeah.
is a game that, is a tutorial that's disguised as a game. It's like we've built in every little feature into here, but it's a game, so you won't notice that we're actually just showing you all the cool stuff because we're just having fun with it. Whereas this genuinely and then go to the analog stick and read the dialogue box where we tell you that it's bigger. Great. Like, thank you. That'll be $6. Dumb. Don't think it'll be on the game of the year list, Hunter. Don't think it will.
No, no, I don't think so. It'll probably be sitting next to 3-4 Switch.
It won't even be bad enough for the This Came Out award.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. Next up.
Storage, data transfer. You'll be able to transfer all your save data and digital games from Switch 1 over to Switch 2.
Hope it goes better than it has in the past. My God. Nintendo's been hit and miss with that.
Yeah. It's a miracle that the Wii to Wii U save data transfer worked.
Yeah.
Then they showed off a new Pro controller. It comes with the combust button built into it. And then it's also got GL and GR buttons on
Fair
on
play.
the
I
handle.
actually,
I
I
wasn't
really, this is
ready
really
for the
cool.
extra buttons.
That's really
Yeah.
I
cool.
was not expecting them to do that.
I've got to give him massive props for this
Yeah,
because,
so
yeah,
they'd be like right on the inside of the handle right
yeah,
there.
grip left and grip right, which is cool, and you can program them to be what you want, and it has a headphone jack in it if you want to. Obviously, I assume that's for game chat, but I assume you can also
Probably.
play audio
Yeah,
through
just
it.
listen to your games. That's something that's nice because I've
That's something that I
defaulted
could
to
really
kind of
do
just
with, to be honest. Like, I've been needing that.
plugging in my headphones while I play like my PlayStation games and stuff just to hear the sound better. And I
Also,
always gotta not do that with Nintendo games.
and I hope this is true, like, you just assume that it would work, but when you're in tabletop mode, and sometimes I've played in tabletop mode with a Pro controller, and it'd be really nice to just have your headphones come through your controller instead of having them go all the way over to where the Switch is. That'd just be a really nice quality of life thing. Because
Yeah,
obviously the Bluetooth still works as
yeah.
normal. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Maybe we'll test it when the Switch 2 comes out. Because initially, Pro controllers still work. You can still use your old Pro controllers, which is nice.
Which, for
You
as
just
nice
can't
as this
wake them up from.
controller
You
looks.
can't wake up Switch 2 from sleep, unfortunately, for some reason, with the home button on those. But
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, I'm probably going to pick up a new Pro controller because my Pro controller is unfortunately finally, after God knows, after having it since launch, is finally starting to cave in a little bit. It's starting to get to see its, which fair play. How many dual sensors have I gone through? And we're halfway through the gen, and one Pro controller has lasted me the entire generation of Nintendo. Pretty impressive. Nintendo are
Oh
like,
wait, no, I did have to. Yeah, I was just thinking. I think I'm still on my original Pro control. I'm not.
but you play a shit ton
Fire
of
Em-
fighting games, so it's like
Well, no,
fair play.
it's not even the fighting games that made me realize it was broken. It was fucking Fire Emblem Engage.
Nice. That
I
was
was
the
in the
game, dude.
overworld.
That was a skill. No, that's the game. You sure that wasn't the game? That game's dog shit.
Like I just be in the hub world, and then
It's
my
like how
camera
Watch
would start
Dogs killed
moving
Ethan's
itself on its
controller.
own, and I'm like, oh fuck.
That was funny.
I already
By
didn't like this game, but now it's broken.
But no, Nintendo's Pro controllers have always been super high quality for me. This isn't
Yeah.
just the Switch. The Wii U's was really good as well, and so I'm happy. Like, they're pretty. It's like $75 or something. It's pretty expensive, but I'm
It's
also
worth
happy
it,
to
though.
make that one purchase and then just have a Pro controller for the whole generation. I'm perfectly happy with doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But no, it's a nice controller. Looks pretty good. Can't wait to use that C button.
All the time, dude. All the time.
Dude, we're gonna do the podcast. Oh, we should do that. Would be really funny if we all had Switch 2s. If I recorded from the webcams, that would be really bad. That'd be sick. We should do that. April Fool's next year. Look out for it. Live from the
Finally
Switch.
do our joke where we tune in from Animal Crossing World.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Anyways, after that, so that was all of the console hardware and stuff. On to the first of two game showcases.
Which most of these will
Um,
rapid fire. We promise. We're not gonna go in depth
yeah.
on every single one of these third parties because most of them we already
Yeah.
knew about.
because it started with showing upgrades to Switch One games.
Yes.
Mario Party Jamboree is getting some stuff. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Which can I like? Let's talk about some of these because Metroid is also one of them as well. I just want to get some of these out of the way because Mario Party Jamboree, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Adding new stuff. We'll get to the prices later because that's an oversight. But I'm
Yeah,
like,
because
okay,
these they're not free upgrades.
new gimmicks. This new TV mode, which basically I don't know if it screams to you like this, Hunter. As soon as I started seeing it, I'm like, oh, they're doing iToy. It's Mario Party
Oh,
iToy.
yeah, I know
Because
what
you're
you mean.
balancing Goombas on your head and you're all sitting on a roller coaster and it's like, oh, okay, they're doing
I know
iToy.
what you mean. My eyes glazed over because Mario Party Jamboree isn't good, so I quit paying attention.
So yeah, that's interesting. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. This is what we were wanting. Was just, hey, here's these games at 4K 60.
Enhanced versions.
That's what it's
Yeah.
confirmed as. Yeah, 4K 60. And I think it's really funny. Every journalist and every early player that I've seen, the first thing they do is they go straight to Korok Forest. That's where everyone's going. They're like, quickly stress the fucker out, and it seems to be running great. I can't wait. I am 100%. Maybe not at launch, but I'm gonna replay these games. Like I'm looking forward to playing it how people have been playing it on emulator for the past 3 years. It'll be good. Thank you.
Kirby
Yeah.
and the Forgotten Land is getting a new story expansion
I can
added
finally
onto it.
play it. I own Kirby and I never played it, so I'm just
Whoa!
gonna give them the 10 quid or whatever and play it now. That's sick. I'm actually excited for that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot for not having played it already, but now I get to play it in a better way. So
The
I
complete
feel
version.
yeah, pretty cool.
Prime 4 is going to be running 4K 60 in I'm trying to remember I'm trying to decipher my notes here. I think it's
4K?
4K 60 when it's docked and then 1080 120 FPS in handheld.
You
No.
could also
Yeah.
switch it to
No.
120 from the dock if you wanted.
It is 4K 60 or 1080p 120 in docked mode, and then in handheld it is 1080 60 or 720 120. You can do 120 frames in handheld as well.
Okay.
Retro Wizards. This
Yeah.
game looks gorgeous. Like, my god. I saw Good Vibes Gaming did a comparison, which if you haven't gone and looked at, go and have a look at it, because my god, this game looks stunning. Like, the work that they're doing. Retro are already witchcraft. We were already talking about how this game looks great on Switch 1, and it's just like, looking at it on Switch 2, I'm like, god, this game looks fantastic. And the fact that they've managed to crank native 4K 60 out, that's
Yeah.
dumb, that's wacky. We heard the 4K, like, people were saying 4K, and I was like, nothing's ever gonna hit 4K. And hey, maybe it's using AI upscaling. Who cares? It fucking looks fantastic. I don't care. I'm back in on Metroid, dude. I'm doing it, Hunter. I don't care that I didn't like Prime 1. I'm getting it. I don't care. It looks great.
Yeah.
Well, you can have fun playing it with your mouse controls.
I'm gonna give it a go.
I mean, to be fair,
why not,
it is a first-person game. That this is probably the best application of the mouse controls if you wanted to play that
They
way.
need like all they need is a mouse peripheral, like something that just goes over the Switch that gives it a bit more of a mousy kind of
Yeah.
layout.
Better feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, the original version of Resident
Or just a
Evil 4
Joy-Con
is
mouse.
gonna hit so
Literally,
hard on
Nintendo,
Switch 2.
just make a Joy-Con mouse. Just make something that the Switch registers as a Joy-Con, a right Joy-Con, and it's a mouse. Do that.
Yeah. And they also showed Pokemon Legends ZA. They didn't say anything specific about this.
I can tell you what it is. I can tell you what they're
But
promising.
in my notes, I just said it's probably the version that doesn't run like ass.
They have,
So
they have. I hope you're ready for this. This is what they've said. They've not told you what the resolution is, but they said that it's the first mainline Pokemon game since Emerald to be running at 60 FPS. So, and it's locked according to them. It's locked. So, I'm guessing they're going for 4K 60 like everybody else, but knowing Game Freak, that's probably a 1080p 55, and we'll take it because it'll be better than the Switch One's 300p 20 that we'll be experiencing otherwise. That was the one that I was like, this doesn't look any different, and that's Game Freak for you.
Yep.
The rest of them look great though, and Kirby
the
looked great as well.
contrast to Prime 4.
They all looked great. And my hope is they're not just doing these 6 games. I assume there'll be more coming along the way.
Yeah.
I assume that Nintendo will probably get to like most of their own, you know, suite of games on the
And
Switch
they
with
didn't
these
mention it
updates.
in the Switch Direct themselves, but there's a bunch of games that are getting free upgrades that are not necessarily on the level of these, but they're patches to make them run better. Those games include Mario Odyssey is getting one of these patches. Arms is getting one of these patches,
Oh,
bizarrely,
epic.
but yeah. Um, and there's a bunch of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are also getting one of these patches as well.
Oh, thank God.
Oh man, they patched it in to be functional.
Yeah. So that's
The life
cool.
support update.
Again, nothing from Monolith, which to me suggests that they're probably working on something that will come later.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that Xenoblade X doesn't get one. I'd also be struggled to see Xenoblade 3 also not getting one, if I'm honest. Hopefully all of them, but those two in particular, I think, would be a shoe-in, you'd think.
Yeah, you'd think.
But
Because,
no,
yeah, Monolith didn't show up, at least
at all.
them specifically, they didn't show up at all for this.
No. Which is fine.
Outside of whatever they're helping with.
They just released Xenoblade X. They're taking a nice little vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or knowing them, they probably had a team of 20 working on that, and everybody else has been working on something that we'll see next year. That's what I think will probably happen. But let them have a little bit of a break.
They're totally doing those Xenosaga remakes right
They are
now.
definitely are not
Good
doing that.
trust.
They are definitely not doing that. I can promise you that.
Anyways, after that, they showed off. Nintendo showed off a new game called Dragon Drive, which is this interesting wheelchair basketball game that I don't know if it exclusively uses the mouse controls,
It
but
does.
okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Can I be
because like
brutally
without it,
honest?
it's just Rocket League with people in wheelchairs.
Can I be
Yeah,
brutally honest about this?
go
And
for it,
I
Ethan.
hate saying this because, it's like you rarely see this is like I've not seen any game with like wheelchair like wheelchair sports in it really. Like this is a really cool concept. This might from an art design perspective, this is like the most sourceless Nintendo game I've ever seen in my life. Like what is this? It doesn't look
Yeah.
like a Nintendo game. Like it looks
Yeah,
more like a tech demo. It looks like Nintendo Switch Sports had this in it and they they moved it off. Like, you know what I mean? Like this feels like it would be
yeah,
in like Switch Sports 2 or Switch 2
yeah.
Sports,
It
you
would be
know?
Switch
To
2
switch
Sports,
to
wouldn't?
sports.
Yeah. But I mean,
But
a cool concept, right? Like wacky
yeah, it's a neat
ideas.
concept. I don't have any actual interest in playing it because the control scheme sounds very tedious in practice. But
Yeah.
And there's no
it's a
like I
cool.
say the personality doesn't seem to really be there for me really.
Yeah,
Um But it's a cool idea, and like I say, I think it's cool that I'm not seeing anything really with wheelchair like kind of sports in it before. That's a cool idea.
yeah.
Mhm. Um, then after that, it was just rapid fire of like third party games that we'll be seeing on the console.
List them out, bro, and
Elden
we'll get
Ring,
it. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah.
Hades 2,
Sorry,
Street
Hunter,
Fighter
you were right.
6.
Street Fighter looks pretty good,
Street Fighter 6 as a launch title.
and it looks pretty great while it's at it. Um,
Yeah. A new Demon Machina game
who
I
asked,
wasn't
coming
bro?
out in
Who
expecting
asked,
that.
September.
bro? Who asked?
Oh, it's just keeping armor core's seat warm because surely they'll put that on there when they can be bothered.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
mean, I never played the Demon Machina on Switch, but I thought it looked interesting.
Yeah, I just didn't
I'll
hear
have
anyone
always
hear any
wanted to
like
try
yeah.
it.
Well, now you've got an
Yeah.
opportunity, I guess. This
It
will probably be
it
better
didn't
in
really
every
have any
way.
fanfare. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it got released on Steam afterwards as well. I think that game it's
I have
weird
no
where
idea.
Nintendo
You could
published it
tell me
on
that released
Switch, but then
anywhere and I'd
yeah,
believe it.
I think it went to other places. But yeah,
Split Fiction coming out as a launch title.
I screamed. That was a
Tony
screaming moment. That was a screaming moment
that
when I saw
that was
Dad on
pretty good.
screen. I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean it's
I've
again,
got
it's
to,
built
I've
for
got to give him
something
fair
like
play.
this.
I've got to give him fair play. I was very proud of him for not swearing. I knew it was hard for Joseph, but he did it, and I'm very proud of him. And so, yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, Split Fiction is perfect for Switch. It really is.
Yeah.
Um,
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 will be launching whenever that is out.
Another game that
July.
another game that's perfect for Switch too.
Yeah.
And also, this was one of those games where I was like, oh, we're in a new era because it was, I saw Pro Skater 1 and 2 on Switch and it didn't look fantastic. And I looked at this and I'm like, other than the face is looking a bit weird, this game looks pretty great. Like, it looks like
Yeah.
a proper version of the game, which is nice.
Hitman World of Assassination as a launch title.
Also looks pretty good. Hitman's fantastic. If you haven't played Hitman, Switch 2 should not be the excuse to play Hitman, but go ahead, play it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been able to play it before,
Yeah,
You can get
100%.
a Luigi costume, seemingly.
yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And then
And
they also,
then
007 is
Project
coming to
007.
Switch as well, which is cool, but I'll believe it when I see it because that game has been teased for about fucking 3 years now, so.
Yeah, ever since they finished up with Hitman 3, they were pretty much like, oh, the 007. Da da
Yeah.
da. And then
That's got to be that's got to be coming in the next year or so. You'd assume because they've been working on that for ages. So
you would think so, but this is also like the first mention of it from their own mouth that I think we've had.
for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Bravely Default as a launch title, and
Dude,
Yakuza 0 Direct.
The opening of the trailer for that one.
You
What
thought it
looked
was
like Final
FF9?
Yeah, you all
It,
got
it looked
baited,
like
you idiot.
Garnet. I was like, oh.
Oh, you
how
got
dare you.
got.
I laughed
Because
because
like
I
I've never
saw
played
it.
Bravely Default. I don't know what the characters look like.
Hunter, even I, as someone who doesn't know fucking clue what FF9 was, I'm like, is this FF9? Just because I was like, what other RPG could Square Enix be teasing right now? Bravely Default? Okay.
Everyone's favorite, Bravely Default.
Yeah.
The game I heard is fun until it isn't, and then it just continues to go on for 20 hours.
60 years, yeah.
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 But no, Yakuza 0 is cool. Like, what a great game. That's also a launch title. Good.
Yep.
If you want to get started on an addiction that will take you a long time to beat, then go for it. What's cool is
To
this
be
is a
fair-
definitive edition. There's new content here. There's absolutely new content. There's a new multiplayer mode. Over 30 extra minutes of cutscenes, it sounds like. They have just they're doing a lot. And there's a dub, if you care for that. A lot of cool stuff. So much so that I'm sitting there and I'm going, I don't want to buy this for Switch 2, but I am hoping that at some point Sega ports this everywhere else, just because I think that would be a nice thing to have as an updated version of Yakuza 0, because that game is fantastic.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's great, and it looked great.
Yeah.
It looked like Yakuza 0. That's what I keep getting at. When we see these third parties, it's not just oh yeah, we're kind of getting it. I'm not sitting there and going, there's a compromise.
Like a watered down.
There's no
yeah,
compromise.
It's not like a homunculus facsimile of the game that you
Yeah,
were looking
exactly.
for. It
Yeah,
was
exactly.
it's the actual game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a game. What a game Yakuza 0 is.
And speaking of games, Hyrule Warriors, another one. Age of Imprisonment.
Yeah, well done, Hunter.
Thanks,
Have
Hunter.
a cookie. Yeah, thank you for that one.
Yep.
It's a Warriors game.
I'll play it.
I will
I
also
won't.
play it because I liked Age of Calamity well enough. I liked the other one well enough.
My big complaint with
I like these games well enough when they're attached to series I care about.
My main complaint was that it ran like dog shit. So I'm hoping that this one doesn't because it's on new hardware. That's my hope. It was all right. I wasn't clamoring for it. I wasn't like, oh, I wish they do it again with the imprisoning war, dude. Like, no, I don't care about the imprisoning war. In fact, I think Tears of the Kingdom spends too much time focusing on it sometimes. Where I'm like, I don't really care about that much. Like, just give me more of actual Ganon.
If they had focused on it in a way that wasn't just repeating the same material 5 times, then I would have been more interested in it. So maybe this has the content I wish they would have been telling me about.
We can only dream, Hunter. We can only dream.
It'll make you retroactively like it.
I don't know about that.
I think the copium of we can carry on the copium for a couple more years though, Hunter, of maybe they won't ditch this story and just go to a new place with the same characters because they're still giving us more new Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom content. They're keeping Patricia Somerset on payroll, so I'm like, maybe.
Yeah. Man, they're going across the ocean in the next big one.
I can feel it.
Oh,
Keep the hope. Keep the dream.
they're going to Mario Kart Island.
Oh, I can't wait, dude. I can't wait.
Well,
But yeah, it
after
was
that,
great there. Oh, sorry, never mind. Doesn't
I mean, I
matter.
was gonna move on. What do you
Oh, I
got?
was just saying it was great there because like I saw a Koei Tecmo logo and I was like, "Huh, here it is."
Uh,
You see, I saw the Koei Tecmo logo and went, fuck. Like, that is genuinely, like,
Here it
Jack,
is.
Jack can attest. The Koei Tecmo logo came up, and all that came out of my mouth was fuck, and then nothing. Like, literally nothing else. It was just fuck, and then 5 seconds of silence.
All
Uh,
right, and then after that, we taking a little bit of a break from the new Switch games and showing you some old stuff that is going to be available to you now via NSO. GameCube is going to be added into that extra tier
We want Wind
with
Waker HD, monkey paw curls. You get SD. Like, my
to be
goodness.
OG Wind Waker still looks really fucking good.
well, it's not so much
And I also
the
will tell you,
looks that's the
they will
problem.
resell you. They will resell you Wind Waker as 4K. Don't you worry, because there's
Oh yeah,
Mario 64 is on NSO, and they have a fucking version of it for Switch on All Stars. Like, they'll find a way. Don't you worry.
Dude, I'd still be more inclined to buy the HD version when they sell that back to you because I don't want
the
to do all of the
conveniences.
Triforce quest. I
Yeah.
don't speed sale that thing too.
Mm.
Was the other feature that the Wii U version had.
That
But
auto
yeah.
changed the wind direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
That was
all
nice.
expecting GameCube NSO to happen with Switch 2. I think everyone was like, we're running out of things for you to do, really. So yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. It's cool.
I'll
Gotta
say
give
this:
them fair play.
I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting this as a lineup of games, though. Wind
Oh,
Waker,
Soul
F
Calibur
Zero
2.
GX, and Soul Calibur 2.
Oh
Like,
God, I can't wait. Soul Calibur 2 is one of my favorites
oh
as far
yeah,
as that goes. It's got a great single player mode for you to mess with.
don't get me wrong. I'm excited to finally play Soul Calibur 2, but it's a weird mix of three games. You know?
It
Ooh,
is.
fourth one.
Um, there was
No,
a
it's just
fourth
those
one. There
three.
was a fourth one in previews, but
Oh,
I think they're
okay.
only doing the 3 at launch. And then they also announced a bunch that were coming, like Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon
Yeah,
XD,
and
and
Coliseum.
Colosseum. I've got to give them fair play. That launch lineup, like the first 8 or so games that they're showcasing, it genuinely did seem to be an FU to scalpers, where they were literally like, look at all these games that are expensive for you to buy. Go fuck yourself. You can play them on NSO. And I respect the shit
Yeah.
out of that. Let's do that more,
Oh,
please.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I appreciate that because I'm sure that Metroid Prime 2, if not for, they'll probably put that there if
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't have
Mhm.
if there's not a
Oh, they will do.
remastered
They will
version.
do.
Yeah.
And I've got to imagine that Melee would be coming sometime in the future.
Yeah, probably. Did 64 ever go to NS? Oh,
No,
I have
I
no
don't
idea.
think so. I
maybe it
actually
won't
don't
then.
know because I
Maybe it
don't
won't.
have that tier. But
You'd think that 64 and Melee would, though, because there's no
you'd
like
think that
licensing issues or anything like that. In fact, I have a
yeah, you'd think
Switch
that
in front of me right
64
here. Give
would
me 2 seconds. I can
yeah.
check this. Let
Because
me
with
just turn the.
64 at least, there's no reason because who's ever gonna choose to play that version for more than they're not gonna
Yeah.
play that version instead of Ultimate for more than 30 minutes, you know?
We're gonna have to. You're gonna have to hold
No.
me to that in like the next yeah, because I don't have the N64 app installed on this one.
No, I'm
Oof.
looking at a list on Wiki. I don't think it's on there. It's not on
That's
there.
fine. Save
No.
me a job from doing that. Thank you.
Oh, right, they're also, they got a GameCube controller coming out for all of
Yeah,
that too. I don't think we got to that yet.
Yeah. It
which is
also has a
like
combust button on it.
Oh, that's the spirit.
because what have we got left? We've got like DS. I never see them doing Wii. I could never see them really doing Wii. I feel like that'd be
Yeah,
weird.
I don't
Or they
think
could though. They have the Joy Cons. They
they still
could.
could. The Joy-Cons still have that functionality. There's if they got that far.
I think the
I
only
think
big thing that they could do that's left really that to me would be like a big explosion is putting the actual Pokemon games on there. Like that is the last thing really is, we have GB,
Mhm.
we have Game Boy Online, we have GBA Online. If they add DS Online, God, the amount of money they'd make if they just put the Pokemon games on there. Like that would just be like, for a lot of people that would just be permanent subscription unlocked for them. Like, oh God, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude,
Um,
the games I'm still waiting for are like those weird Game Boy Advance games that you could link up with like 4 link cables and do 4-player multiplayer, like Kirby and the
Like
Amazing Mirror and
Four
Legend of Zelda
Swords
4 Swords
Adventure.
Isn't
Adventures.
Force Wars
Yeah.
on there?
I have no idea.
Or is it? No, it might just be Link. It might just be
It
the
might
two
Link's
Link's
Awakening or
Awakening, whatever they're called, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages.
yeah.
I think it's just them two.
Oh, no, wait, they're both on there.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were.
They're
Yeah,
both on Game Boy Advance,
yeah.
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 I don't have that tier, folks, I don't.
I
I
do, and I
don't.
don't know. I've never
I
fucking booted
don't.
them up, dude. I don't know why I even have that tier.
Never mind, yeah, Amazing Mirror and 4 Swords are both there.
Cool.
Although it's linked to the past in 4 Swords, not 4 Sword Adventures.
Yeah.
4 Sword Adventures is the GameCube game, though,
Oh well,
so maybe we can get that.
maybe.
And Japan has Mother 3 and we don't. Lamau.
Classic.
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 Uh, yeah. F-Zero
Uh,
GX being there is cool too. I can't wait to try that out.
yeah, F-Zero
Yeah.
GX is rad. That's another game that's really fun to watch people be good at because it looks ridiculous.
Dude, like just the old one or the older one, you know, on the Super Nintendo or whatever is a lot of fun to just mess around with, being all straightforward and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But cool to see. We'll
Yeah.
see what other
GameCube
GameCube games
tier.
get added.
GameCube
knows?
had a lot of good stuff. Hopefully it all moves forward.
Maybe.
Come on, beautiful Joe.
I'll also take my half point of credit for Fire Emblem Path of Radiance being shown to be announced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, like, just cool to see those old games come back, especially like Ethan had brought up, like heavily scalped games that are hard to come by nowadays.
It's the best thing for him.
Yeah. Better than just sitting on them and doing nothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
after that, we got more games. Deltarune chapters 1 through 4 as a launch title.
Ah, that's the good stuff. That'll probably
Also
be what I
available everywhere
play.
else, but I'm not going to play it because
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for all of it. Which at this point, I'm like, we've got half of the chapters now because there's supposed to be 7, isn't there? I'm like, oh my god, am I going to be alive when the last one comes out at this point? Should I just start playing? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, man. You've been playing Final Fantasy piece by piece. Go for it.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Ugh.
But yeah, that's cool that it's finally coming out. I know Toby Fox has been teasing that for a while now, so
That'll probably be what I play on launch day if I actually have a Switch 2 in my possession.
you don't have to worry because it's also available everywhere else as well if you do care for it.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that got shown here. We don't need to cover all of it. Civ 7's going to be there. Enter the Gungeon 2.
That's
Oh,
cool.
my stream broke during that Survival Kids
Oh,
trailer.
yeah.
Like I
No,
had to find
everyone's
somewhere
stream
else to
died.
go.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
The amount of streamers that I find hilarious because we all did the same thing. We all went over to Nintendo UK. That's where we went. That was like Nintendo UK's YouTube channel became like a refugee camp for everybody whose stream died over on NA because it's like you just notice that in all the streamers' reactions, all the dates randomly changed to UK phrasing. So it's quite funny that everyone just went there. But yeah, there was a lot of random stuff.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is a
Cool.
launch title,
Looks good as well. Pretty
which
cool.
hats off to them.
Which, let's be real here, set expectations. I think they said that they do not have a 60 FPS performance mode. It is just a.
Mhm.
I think they said that there's a 1080. I think they said their quality mode is obviously 30, but they have a 40 FPS performance mode, which, because the Switch's screen has variable refresh rate, should look good. But
Yeah.
no 60. Which, what are you going to do? Boo hoo. You're playing fucking. You got Cyberpunk on Switch. That's impressive enough.
Let's hope it works this time. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade will be coming.
Before it comes to Xbox.
Rebirth will probably come as
Lamau.
well.
Yeah,
Eventually,
I
yeah.
imagine that they'll get Rebirth on there before the third
Part 3
part.
comes out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool, though.
I don't think they gave a time frame on that one.
No,
Or
I
I
think
just
it'll probably
missed it,
just be
one or the other.
2025, probably.
Sometime, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. It'll be right there, right next to Hollow Knight Silk Song in 2025.
I believe that's Cope. Cope continues.
It just showed up in this sizzle reel, and I'm like,
In
oh,
the
hey,
sizzle reel.
there you are.
There's new footage as
Classic.
well. That's the funny thing is they went
Yeah,
and they
You've
gave him
moved
dude.
up
4
to a
seconds of
sizzle
new
reel
footage.
game.
For all 4 seconds of new footage there was, that jump animation that she did doing over the gap was clean.
Yeah, dude. They spent 3 years just polishing that.
Yeah.
Also showed a bunch of stuff from the Nintendo Direct the week before.
Yeah,
Story
they
of
just
Seasons,
shotgun a bunch of that.
Witchbrook,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Comics Invasion, Star Wars Outlaws,
Ew.
Fast Fusion, the new Fast RMX game,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Fast Racing game. That shit's cool. I like
Yeah.
that game on the Wii U.
It was good on Switch as well. It was a launch game for Switch as well.
Yeah. Shadow Labyrinth, Raito Remastered. I just wrote Konami Date because I didn't want to write the whole title.
No Sleep for Kaname Date, an AI the Somnium File story.
Fortnite on launch.
Lovely.
Professor Layton World of Steam in 2025.
I'm not sure I believe them, but yeah.
Human
I
Fall
don't know. They've
Flat
been
2.
saying 2025 for like the past year and a half. I feel like that's a game where they just show you, like, 2 months before it comes
It'll-
out. It just shows up.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was going to be a second Human Fall Flat.
Neither did I.
This is something that sounded familiar, but I couldn't quite place what it was.
It's essentially like platforming co-op gang beasts is
Huh.
the way I always describe it to people, where instead of, punching each other with your goofy wobbly guys and throwing each other off of buildings, you're trying to, in theory, help each other move from place to
Yeah,
place.
that's a good. That's
Yeah.
a good description of it.
Then so that was the end of the sizzle reels, and then we had 3 more game announcements. 1 third party and 2 from Nintendo. Starting off was The Dusk Bloods, a Switch 2 exclusive game from FromSoft.
A multiplayer game too.
PvPvE.
Right, it's like bad side, yeah, it's a multiplayer game. Good side is it is directed by Miyazaki. This is an actual. This isn't a spin-off thing.
Between this and Night Rain, I'm more interested in this one.
Yeah, that's way cool.
But even
This one looks
yeah.
like what you'd want it to be, where it's 8 people are stuck in like an area, and then you've got to fight it out to the death. Like it sounds like
Yeah.
you've got to gather yourself up, get yourself strong, and then kill each other, and it's the last one remaining wins, which sounds a lot more interesting than run around a map with 2 strangers for half an hour and then maybe beat a boss at the end. Like, this sounds like a more interesting concept.
But yeah, it's wild that it's just a Switch exclusive, though. Wasn't.
Do you know what's
expecting that.
wilder? Apparently, Miyazaki was talking that originally this was a Switch 1 exclusive.
Oh my god.
They were
That's
originally
hysterical.
when the deal started, they were working on a Switch 1 game, and then Nintendo was like, "Hey, do you want to make it for Switch 2?" So yeah.
Yeah. No date on this one, but it's scheduled for 2026.
Yeah, they'll probably hit
So
it.
look
It's when
look
From
forward to
puts a
that.
year on something, they usually
From
hit
is
it.
good about this, yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't usually put a date on it all the time, like Elden Ring. You'll just wait for 5 years.
Yeah, you just wait. But
It wasn't
yeah, it
5
looks
years, it
neat.
was like 3. But you know.
Yeah. Then after that, new Kirby's Air Ride game. Directed
Smash
by
fans
Masahiro
fucking
Sakurai.
cried. No Smash for you. No, not anytime soon.
Dude, Kid
Um,
Icarus fans cried.
Yeah. Cool. Whatever. Well, I'll look to
I
see
never
more.
played Air Riders.
Yeah.
It'll be good, but let's see more.
Never
you
played
know?
the original. And then their final game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. New 3D Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
The game Hunter just dropped like $40 on in the
Is
fantasy
that how much he
draft.
spent on it? Oh my god.
He dropped a lot.
It was
Fucking
32, I think.
32. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh god, I got Hyrule Warriors, dude. I only put like $2 on it or something. What the fuck did I put on that? I'm looking up
You
this,
put
I don't-
$3 down on that.
Yeah.
Oh
Dude, I
shit!
thought
I
someone...
stole Kirby Air Rider from you.
I didn't want to. Let's be real here. I didn't want any of them really. Like I was just sitting there, I'm like, I already got Mario Kart, so I don't want to steal stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna put money on here just in case people forget. But I wasn't gonna like. I put like 25 on Donkey Kong. I'm like, I really don't want it. I just want somebody to have
Yeah,
gone high.
and went high. Hunter did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
To be
mean,
fair, this game
I
looks
also put
good.
some down for Donkey Kong. So
this game looks great. It looks fantastic. I think my
it
favorite
does
part
look like
is
a lot of fun.
no one knows who's making it. It could be the Odyssey team. It could be part of the Odyssey team because I doubt that Nintendo would tell the Odyssey team go and make a Donkey Kong game and don't make a 3D Mario for a decade. So you got to assume there's
Yeah,
also a 3D Mario in the works as well. But
somewhere.
yeah, it's like a sandbox Donkey Kong 3D platformer. You can break all the environment. You can.
Yeah. The way that people describe like getting to play it also, sounds really cool as far as
Yeah,
like certain terrains are harder to pull up, and
it's
it seems like it.
harder to smash some things, guys.
Yeah. Like it seems like there's a lot of the eye for detail that is present in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom kind of came in and seems to be colliding with the general open platform
Yeah.
level philosophy of Mario Odyssey in a way that's interesting.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's coming sooner than I thought it was. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh, is this the big holiday game?" And it's in July,
That's what
so
I would have figured, but July,
yeah.
that's not bad either. That'll be fun.
yeah. Two further comments. No wonder they keep promoting the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD port this year. Everyone's been joking about why does social media keep fucking chiming that along. Obviously, this is why, because there's a huge Donkey Kong game coming out later in the year. And two, Donkey Kong Bonanza might quite possibly be the best title for a video game that I've seen in a long time. Whoever
It
came
was a
up with
very
that
good
at
title.
Nintendo HQ deserves a raise. Like that is fantastic. Quite
I mean, Donkey
possibly.
Kong's no stranger to good titles. Donkey
No, but
Konga,
I think
very
that
good.
might be the best one. I think Bonanza might be the best one. Like it's genuinely excellent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very good.
And there
must
you
look
go.
like a very fun video game.
It
I'll
does
be
look like a
playing
lot
it.
of fun. Yeah.
I won't. Not from not wanting to,
We'll get to that in a
but
second.
because
We'll
of
get to that.
everything that followed
But
after
yeah,
the direct.
Direct good. I liked it. It was
Direct very
fun.
good.
No price or anything like that, so we were like, that was weird. But other than that, it was a pretty positive experience, I think. Everyone was pretty impressed.
Mhm.
Twitter was ablaze with positivity. Nothing could go wrong.
My
And
feed
then I
was full of
think,
Moo Moo Cow.
yeah,
So
go bird.
it was a good
Cow, go
a
bird.
good
He
Wednesday.
does. He's a good boy. He goes bird. Let him go. And then, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen,
And
about
then the rest
20
of the week
minutes passed.
happened.
Yeah, and then everything went to shit. So let's start with the big ones. Nintendo Switch 2 got its pricing announced after the date. $450, $500 for the Mario Kart bundle. In the UK, that worked out to roughly about $400 for the base and $430 or something for the bundle, which made it an even better deal for Mario Kart fans if you were in the UK. I had no problems with this price, by the way. Like that was fine to me.
No.
I thought that was
No.
completely
The
reasonable.
the price for the console is reasonable, I would say. 450 is about, at least it wasn't 500,
Yeah, because yeah, PS5 was 500
Or at least with the 500 SKU, you're getting
thereabouts.
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Not a bad deal. Especially because most people will be buying this console on launch with Mario Kart. This is the game that you'll buy. And it makes sense. They're not doing different colored SKUs this time, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, you will not have to choose the rainbow puke Joy-Cons or the boring grey ones. You will just have to deal with grey with a little hint of puke. That is what we're going with. So yeah, I thought that was fair. Then the game pre-order prices were announced.
Oof.
and that's when shit hit the fan.
So have we got Mario Kart's an $80 video game?
Yeah.
That's the big one. Let's rip the band-aid off there. To put that into perspective, It's like a £75 video game here in the UK as well, which is like, mamma mia, that's a spicy fucking pill to swallow, dude. Like, my God, I do not like that. Um, God, I didn't. Yeah, I think everyone was expecting GTA to rip this band-aid off, not Nintendo like 5 months earlier. You know, like I feel like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it seems like Mario Kart is $80. Has there been a confirmation if it's cheaper digitally in America yet, or is it just 80 everywhere?
I haven't. Okay, so the whole physical being more expensive thing in general, I haven't actually seen any real confirmation of that. Like, for example, pre-orders for all the things went up on Best Buy, a store that doesn't usually sell digital versions of stuff, and everything was still just like Donkey Kong was still just 70, not 70 and then 80 for physical or whatever. So you know,
Hmm. It's interesting because, yeah, in the UK, at least at the moment, I'll give you the pricing of what physical game copies are in the UK currently. Mario Kart World, and then now Mario Kart World. I felt that felt wrong saying because I was like Mario Kart World Tour. I'm like, it's not World Tour. That's Guitar Hero. Mario Kart World, £75. Donkey Kong Bonanza, £65. Tears of the Kingdom, £65. Breath of the Wild, £65. Kirby, £65. Mario Jamboree, £65. Notice how all of the physical copies, even though there's a difference in upgrade charges in apparently in Japan for between Kirby and the Zelda games, there is no difference physically.
yeah.
Which, if we were looking at that, that roughly translates to $80 for Mario Kart, $70 for everything else. Although I've seen in America that the Zelda games cost $80. So it's not Nintendo's playing
Nintendo
by their
pulling
own
a
rules.
sly one.
They're
Yeah,
playing by their
Nintendo's
own
pulling a
rules.
sly one there because they know they can get away with. They can pull that with Zelda the same way they can with Mario Kart. They did that with Tears of the Kingdom
Yeah.
already.
Which let me just say, this is a huge increase in the UK in terms of game prices. To put this into comparison for you guys, Switch games physically here start at 50
Wow.
currently. Zelda was
Yeah.
the exception, and that was 60.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've gone up quite a bit. And yeah, for some reason on Nintendo's store in the UK, Mario Kart World is £75 physically, but digitally it is only 67. It is what, £8 cheaper digital? And yeah, same £8 cheaper digital for Donkey Kong. It's £59. We don't think we've had confirmation on how much digital games cost yet in America. I don't think we've actually had that from Nintendo, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we don't even know how much the console is going to cost in America now. So
We don't even know if we can pre-order it or not.
ooh, let me learn more. Can I
But we may
learn
not even
more?
get the console.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to. Yeah, I can see. I'm seeing nothing. I'm just seeing $80 MSRP, which to me, I feel like you would put that. Yeah, $79.99 MSRP with 3 asterisks on it, which just says manufacturer's suggested retail price. So, which is £75. Which, don't get me wrong, that either means that America's being screwed on both, which means both digital and physical are going up, and then apparently Europe is getting fucked where they're trying to push everybody to digital. Which,
yeah.
to put this in perspective, I think this puts it into perspective. There was someone, I can't remember who it was. I'm trying to think, was it Chris Scullion? I can't remember if it was Chris Scullion or not. But someone on Twitter basically said, if you're wondering why Nintendo's doing this in Europe, the current percentage, because everyone knows it's roughly, well, it's more 70-30 the other way around now, digital physical on PlayStation. In Europe currently, the physical to digital ratio on Switch game releases still is sitting at 80% physical, 20% digital in Europe.
Wow.
Because everyone gets games cheaper. I've talked to you guys about this all the time. I get Switch games way
Yeah.
cheaper physical. I get Switch games for about, saying that, Xenoblade X was £50 on the eShop. I bought my physical copy for about 39, I think, or 40. Like, you get it under MSRP because everyone tries to outcompete. Nintendo is obviously looking at that and going, bet, let's just put everything under on digital. Which kind of sucks. It kind of
Yeah.
sucks. It kind of puts
Yeah.
me off collecting physical for Switch 2. So we'll see how that goes. Let's also mention this because I didn't put this on the hot docket, but we should have put it on the docket. These key cards, these Nintendo key cards. Did you hear about this? The key games or whatever they're called?
This sounds, from every description of it I've been able to read throughout the week, it sounds like they were already doing this with the games on the Switch 1 that were like the large third-party ones.
Yeah, they're similar. They're labeled slightly different this time, I think is the best way to describe it. But on the game cartridges, on the boxes, they'll be called key cards, and the idea is you put the game into the Switch and it downloads it like a digital game, but you have a physical key that you have to actually put in the cartridge into the cartridge slot, which a lot of people aren't happy with. I don't think there's a win here. I think the only thing you have is, I think, call this a controversial opinion, I think this is better than a code in a box, because
Yeah,
in my
I would
head,
say that.
unless the key card registers to your account, you could sell that and then somebody else can download off the key card. I'd assume it still works like that as a physical game. Maybe.
Yeah, I would assume so. It'd be like a skeleton key, not just
Yeah.
only a key to the door to playing this game on your Switch.
But yeah, I think a lot of people are pissed because of that. Just because a lot of games are doing that, which, that was always going to happen, I think. Unfortunately, it's been happening with Switch for ages.
Yeah,
Then the final...
it's been happening on the PlayStation and such too, like
Yeah.
play disc and the download discs and whatnot.
And if that wasn't enough fun for cartridges, this was not the only thing about physical. The other thing about physical, Switch 2 these Switch 2 edition games like Zelda are getting physical releases, quote unquote. They are just Switch 1 cartridges with a download code inside. What a fucking disaster. Why the fuck? Don't bother. Don't fucking bother.
Yes, let's just buy the uglier box now and
Right. Can I put my tinfoil hat on? Does anybody think that the box art is uglier on purpose? I'm starting to think I think this is a Nintendo ploy on trying to move people away from physical. We'll make digital slightly cheaper and we'll make the boxes ugly as fuck. What could possibly go wrong? I feel like it's a strat.
I don't know. So the thing there is, like, specifically the enhanced versions of the boxes are what I think are ugly. I think Donkey Kong's box art and box looks fine, but
I
like
just think it looks like baby's first Photoshop. Like, it's like big ass fucking bezel, Nintendo Switch centered in the top with a load of blank space on it. It just looks really ugly. Like, it just doesn't look good. And then, like you said, with the Switch 2 edition, you got the fine print at the bottom. Like, oh, it's just
the
nasty.
fine print, the ugly complete or the ugly Switch 2 edition underneath the titles of everything. It's
But there's
not
something
great.
annoying about it, because it's like, yeah, I'm a physical, as you can see from on the side. I'm a physical collector. I like collecting physical games. It sucks to me that Mario Kart World is £75 physical. Digitally, it's cheaper. And yet again, if you buy the bundle in the UK, it's only about fucking £26 or whatever to get it in the bundle. So I'm like, in what world am I going to spend £75 on a physical copy of Mario Kart World? I can tell you, there is no world. I'm just going to have it digitally because I'm not stupid. Like, it just kind of sucks. It really does feel like a push to digital from Nintendo. Like, it really feels like a push.
Which is weird because, 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have expected them to be the ones hard pushing that out the same way. Like, making physical versions of games more or like making or doing that sounds like something I would have guessed that PlayStation would have tried first.
Yeah.
It's
Xbox
just gave up entirely because their console's barely a thing anymore.
I think it's funny because I think we've all had these discussions before. Or you've all had that friend that's been like, why aren't digital copies of games cheaper? Because they aren't printing anything. And then I think it's funny that Nintendo's like, no, we'll raise the prices of everything, but we'll only raise digital slightly more. As if that's like, it's like they've done the thing. They've just done it the wrong way. It was like, they're like, yeah, well, everything goes up, digital slightly less.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of collecting, I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do. I was saying this in the chat. I'm still conflicted. I don't know if I will be buying games digitally or physically going forward. Because if in Europe they are going to be that much more expensive, it just doesn't feel like a good. But also, you know what Nintendo servers are like. Like, as soon as the Switch 2's dead, the Switch 2's dead. So it's like,
Yeah.
what do you do? I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you do in this situation? I don't know what is best. I really don't.
That definitely, like, if it does turn out that I'm paying like $80 for most games physically, I'll have to be more choosy about that.
Definitely.
So, like, there are already there are already games I've had for the Switch where I don't actually care about seeking out a physical version, like the Mario Party games I have. Those came digitally, or
Mhm.
I'd be more inclined to get the physical version of Clubhouse games, just because, but I never did that.
I think the thing that I've done is, though, Hunter, is I've bought games digitally in the past from Nintendo because, they had the 2-for-1 vouchers, which were really good or whatever, and all that jazz.
Yeah,
And then I've gone back and bought the games physically because I just I like the game and I just want it a part of my
yeah,
collection. There's no way in hell that in the UK I can at least go, oh, I really liked Animal Crossing and I got it digitally because I got it in my Animal Crossing Switch bundle. And so I bought the game physical again at some point, like years down the line, just because I wanted a physical copy of it. But, that cost me £30. I'm not too worried about that, right? There's no way in hell that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to buy a game digitally for £68 and then years down the line, oh, yeah, I'll spend 70 on it for a physical copy. No, that's not going to happen. Like, and Nintendo, we all know Nintendo used market, it doesn't go down. Like, we're not
No.
Yeah.
going to wait 3 years and there's going to be a big discount. Like, we all bitch about, like, the $70 video game and video game prices going up. But here's the thing, unless you're a day one sucker, it doesn't affect you. Because if you want to go and play God of War now, you're not paying $70 for God of War Ragnarok. You're going to probably play like 20, maybe, even 15. You can probably get it super cheap now on the used physical market. Nintendo, you don't get that privilege. So it's just like
no,
Mario Kart World will be $80 for the next 8 years. It will be. But you can guarantee that every Black Friday, it's going to be in every single Switch bundle. Because of course it is. And it'll look like a good deal. Of course. Like, it's just like, it just seems kind of shitty. It just really does. We'll see what happens. What was next on the fuckery list? What happened after that? Oh, fucking tariffs. We got that. The fucking.
Oh no.
Let's start with the dichotomy of Europe versus America, right? So pre-orders everyone was told pre-orders would go live on April the 8th in the Europe and April the 9th in America. Europe decided April the 8th sounds too far away. Let's do it now and just started hot dropping pre-orders everywhere that wasn't Nintendo, okay? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just woke up one day. I woke up the next day and it was like, Switch pre-orders are gone from here, and here. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, jeez, that's crazy. So everywhere in the UK, except for my Nintendo, all the pre-orders have gone and sold out already before the date, which is fun. I have managed to secure 2 pre-orders. I followed my PowerPoint to a T. So I've got 2 secured. Hopefully one of them will be launch day. One of them is the Mario Kart bundle. The other one is without. I can tell you for a fact that the one that I want is the Mario Kart one because I'm not a fool. But we've got that sorted. And then my Nintendo, I've got to give them props. This is actually cool. For as far as I can tell, they're not doing this in America, but they're doing it in Europe, where they kind of were
what else
like,
is new?
they've kind of put some anti-scalper measures on the website for my Nintendo, where you have to fill certain criteria to actually be eligible. And they've only sent it, like, it's not, you don't opt in. Nintendo is deemed if you're worthy enough and have sent you an email. And they're like, hey,
Yeah.
you have to have 2 years of Nintendo Switch Online. You have to play over 50 hours of games on your Switch at some point, and you have to have been opted into emails before this announcement even came out. So you can't opt in now and get it. I didn't even get this email as someone who spent way too much money on my Switch. I wasn't even invited to this. Jack was. Like, this is what we're talking about,
What?
right? Yeah. Ethan buys every video game under the planet and has had a rolling Nintendo Switch Online subscription since the day it came out. Jack has done nothing but pay for Switch Online and bitch about Smash Ultimate for 6 years, and he gets invited. So, there you go. That's all you have to do.
Hey, he's been playing CTR.
True. But,
I see him pop up when I'm playing Xenoblade, and I'm like, why is he playing CTR on his Switch?
no clue. But yeah,
What
so...
are you doing, you
Yeah,
goober?
am I butthurt that I didn't get invited? Yes, but also can I say fair play to Nintendo for coming up with what I think is actually a fair way of going about it? Yeah, fair play. Cool. They'll still go in 2 seconds, but hey, what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
they'll still go in 2 seconds. But I guess the only thing is, like, I guess you're out of luck if you're someone who's freshly capable of buying a new console on your own or whatever.
Yeah, and I think people were like, "Oh, I hate that you had to have had a subscription to be eligible for the pre-orders," and I'm like, "There's only so much you can do, right?
Yeah, it's like
You've got
there's
to
Yeah.
no
draw the
perfect
line at some
solution
way.
here.
And I think that's better than just opening them to hellfire and see what happens, like every other retailer did this week. And the hell,
Yeah.
like, I'm grateful that I even secured a pre-order. Like, it was mental, absolutely mental. And better than the US. You two take it away. Kyle, do you want to take it away on this one?
Not really. No, not
Uh,
at all, dude.
Originally, the pre-orders for the Switch were going to go up on April 9th, and the lovely tariff policy that our country is leaning on now has delayed that to, I don't know,
Eventually.
sometime.
To be determined.
Yeah,
So,
basically, I believe during the last Republican term. Let's put it that way. Let's try and avoid all of the the terms. Nintendo moved a lot of their production out of China and to Vietnam because of tariffs or potential tariffs, because because if everyone remembers, even during the last term there were talks and implementations of this is not a new thing.
yeah.
So yeah, especially they were starting to move stuff then, and then in the past year or so they've tried to move a lot more to Vietnam, and then obviously the current presidential term has now decided tariffs for everybody, including a big one on Vietnam. So yeah, all of the Switch 2s that were coming to America were already coming from Vietnam. So yeah, Nintendo's had to undo the pre-order date. So we don't know when pre-orders are going to go live in the US. It could be a couple of days, it could be a couple of weeks. It genuinely could be that the
Indefinite.
console doesn't get released on June 5th in America. It will be
Yeah.
released everywhere else, but it will not be released in America on June 5th, maybe. That's like the worst case scenario. I don't know. It's interesting, right? It depends how quickly it's reversed. It will be reversed. Like, there's no getting around it. I feel like your country has to reverse it to an extent.
Have you seen who's in charge?
I know, but have you seen the? Listen, I don't
He
want to
doesn't
talk.
give a shit about the backlash, dude.
I don't want to talk about politics too
He's
much.
gonna
But if
double down.
I don't want to talk about the politics too much, not because I am trying to be bipartisan and sit on a fence. I think they can all fuck off as far as I'm concerned. But it's because all I'll say is, if China, Japan, and South Korea are all joining together in an agreement, you're fucked up. They hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, they despise each other. You're fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything's reversed. But not looking good so far. If only you
Yeah.
guys had what we had, which was everyone just breaking the embargo anyway and just doing it all early.
Yeah, just get your order in before they could do that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't foresee this actually happening, but Nintendo could also just be like, we'll sell the console at a loss because the Mario Kart alone might make up for the
They won't. They won't.
yeah.
I feel like
No.
I think there's three. There's three solutions, right? There is they take a hit, they stand with the prices that they've said, and they just take a hit on this initial batch of Switch 2s that they release, which I don't see that happening. Two is a price increase, and the third is they push it until the tariff's reversed.
Yeah.
I'm currently
Which,
leaning on two. That's what I'm leaning
Yeah.
on.
Probably, yeah.
People are going that I think Nintendo will take some hit. I don't think you're going to say, oh, 45% increase then. Everyone's going $700 then. I'm like, no, I don't think they'll be that
Yeah, I don't
insane.
think like
My guess would
certainly
be
not.
if I was a betting person, I would guess that the base Switch 2 goes up to 500 and the Mario Kart goes up to 550. I think they get just bumped up a tier. Would be my guess.
I think anything from like the 500 to 600 range even is on the table.
But we'll
I don't
see.
think I don't think 700 is very plausible, but dumber things have happened. Reality continues to be a parody of itself.
Yeah.
Uh,
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It was a fun one. It's been, like I say, interesting week for Nintendo. Then there were some little bits that weren't as bad. The UI and eShop leaked. They didn't leak. They showed screenshots, and the spoiler alert, they're the fucking same. eShop does not have the eye-wateringly bright orange, it seems, anymore. It seems that it's gone to a more generic look, but it looks the exact same. And the Switch UI looks the exact same, except it's got rounded edges now, like the PS5, because that's what screams modern in the 2025, ladies and gentlemen. It's rounded corners on squares.
I mean, yeah, have you ever seen Wally? That was the whole distinction between the two. Wally was cubic and Eve was round.
I really hope that we're still not we've all got Nintendo accounts. I'm really hoping that there's no friend codes. I'm really begging we're still not living in friend code era, but we'll find out because they didn't mention moving over.
I don't know if they were gonna change that.
You'd think they would have mentioned it by now. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as
Rather
well.
than just kind of like omitting it means that they were probably hoping that people weren't thinking about it.
Yeah, and there was a themes menu in the settings, but you can guarantee there'll just be two, basic white and basic black. So get ready for that choice, gamers, because you're going to be making it and keeping it for the next 8 years.
Do you like your retinas or do you not?
And then the final thing was there were two leaks, and these are both interesting. One of them just a random one, and this was a thing that anybody could notice. This wasn't like, oh, on a Nintendo Japan, like on Nintendo South Korea, their direct had a weird. No, this was in the American direct. When they showed the screen where it was like you can play your Switch 1 games on Switch 2, a couple of eagle-eyed people noticed that the box art for Yoshi's Woolly World was in there as one of the squares. Not Crafted World, Woolly World. A game that has not yet been announced for Switch 1, so I guess we could add the Woolly World Port Hunter to the things that are being moved over. We won.
Finally. That's
a good Yoshi
stuff.
game on Switch.
Yeah.
It's only taken this long. And then the more interesting thing, the little tidbit, was South Korea leaked a different version of the box art of Donkey Kong Bonanza, which instead of having the little purple guy, the little purple rock guy, had what looked to be a young Pauline.
Paulina, if you will.
Yeah. With the rock back, like she had the rock as like a bangle on her arm, so I assume that the rock must be Pauline. I don't know what they're doing here. So yeah.
what a weird thing. Yeah.
What gets weirder, guys, is if we stick our, again, our tinfoil hats on, is in the footage shown at Treehouse, we've seen Cranky Kong, so this isn't a prequel, because Cranky Kong is in the game as well. So what is the lore here? Has Pauline been turned into a child? Does Pauline have a daughter? What is happening? Who knows?
I don't know.
Find
Who's
out
the dad?
in Donkey Kong.
Maybe
that's the real story behind Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Oh, no.
Who's the father, dude? There's only one man who can answer this. Steve
His
Harvey
bananas
guest
got
stars in
taken
Donkey
away
Kong
because
Bonanza.
he's
Waluigi.
Donkey Kong's bananas got taken away this time because he got served divorce papers or child support.
Oh dear. But yeah, just a fun little tidbit, which is weird. Which, let's be real, if this is the Odyssey team, this isn't the first time this has happened, because obviously the first trailer and all of that jazz, they made the logos that leaked were all the Mario Odyssey logo before the googly eyes for Cappy. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be the first time. We'll see.
Who knows?
It's fun now. But, like, what a fucking week, dude. Like, what a week. There was just so much turmoil, so much hatred on the internet. Some of it justified. Some of it
Which
not
is
so.
different from every other week on the internet.
I know.
Yeah,
in
the
Nintendo-
following day I got to see the following day I got to see the same level of hatred and turmoil for the Devil May Cry Netflix series.
Oh, what a shame. We didn't have time to talk about that or the Minecraft movie. What a shame. What
No,
a
it's
shame.
okay.
But yeah, we'll just have to see. Like I say, it'll be interesting. Switch 2, ladies and gentlemen. We want it, but will we get it? Find out in June.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah.
what if both of my pre-orders are actually like, oh, we actually over allocated. You're not getting this. Like, yeah, oh god, maybe we won't.
Yeah,
Well,
it's- you just
year
get
of the
ru-
backlog,
get
then.
rug pulled.
Yeah. Hey, I've already said, guys, you two are more than welcome to fly over here to the UK and take the second pre-order. You're more than welcome. The offer stands. The offer stands. It might be cheaper than the tariffs at this point. You never know.
Legit, dude. I might just like scoot you some money. Be like, hey, can you find me another Switch?
I think the
Here's the
import fees
payment.
would be so much, dude. Like, my god, that would be the problem. Import fees would be so mad. And also, would I trust courier to not fuck that up? Like, my god, I'd be scared. Be a big risk. We'll see though, guys. We'll see what happens. We'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll leave it there. That's our show, everybody. What did you think of the Switch 2? Let us know. Go home. We're done.
Go on. The movie's over. Leave.
Leave.
Go outside.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us this week, guys. For another thrilling Nintendo edition of the HGO podcast. Come back next week, where I don't think we're talking about Nintendo. I don't know. Is there anything on the cards for next week? I don't know.
No.
I don't
Sounds like a good time to pull the time capsule episode.
No, we're not. We're not putting another Nintendo episode out next week. You can't fucking name it. We need a break.
Like, oh man, Kyle disappeared for another week. Damn.
Yeah, and Nintendo's still here. Nintendo is the
Where'd
third
it
member of the
go?
podcast, dude. That's the real. No, we'll see what happens, but we'll figure it out. I'm sure something will happen next week. What the heck? There'll be something.
I hope not. I'm tired of things happening.
To be honest,
It's
same.
exhausting.
You know, same. I genuinely could do with a week of chill, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you guys ever so much for listening and watching. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. But unless there's a tariff on podcast, then we're fucked. But until then, have an awesome week.
The show's gonna go bi-weekly now.
Yeah.
We can't afford a weekly, dude. We can't afford it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.
We don't profit off of it, so the number is still going to be 0.
Yeah, unless they start charging me. And then I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place for more. But until then, have an awesome week. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.